So I was out to dinner recently with some people who I'd never met before. And I was talking to this guy, and he was telling me about the benefits of stimulating the male prostate, something that I personally have zero experience with. And I got to tell you, he sold it to me in a way that was extraordinarily appealing. And I'm in a place in my life right now where I am feeling particularly exploratory and curious and kind of game for anything. So I went home that night and I ordered the prostate stimulator that he recommended. And I spent the rest of the night looking up information in regards to it, the process, personal accounts. And from what I read, there were some levels of states of ecstasy that people have reached that they could only describe as psychedelic. Psychedelic states of ecstasy achieved through stimulating the male prostate. So the male prostate stimulator eventually arrived. And I'll be honest with you, it's been sitting on the top of my refrigerator in its box, unused. And it's been a little while now, but, you know, we're at the end of the year and it's just busy, kind of chaotic times, a lot going on and all that. So what I'm saying basically is I've been too busy to fuck myself in the butt.
1, 2, 3, 4.
The really
fun.
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 It's the really fun wow show.
The really fun.
The really fun wow show. Oh, how fun.
Hello and welcome to the Really Fun Wow Show, huh? Can you believe it? When I was trying to conceive of an idea for this show, one of the possible titles was That Didn't Help. Because I don't know what this is. I don't think anybody needs it. I hope that you get some enjoyment out of it. I think what I really kind of came down to in regards to like what the concept of this show is, if there is one, if there can be one, is just kind of like white noise for when you're running or you're exercising or you're doing some work that doesn't require all that much attention. I'm kind of just going to be like in the background. You know, it's one of those shows, like there's some podcasts I listen to that are really heavy and heady and you have to really pay attention. And if you miss something, you may need to rewind. You won't need to rewind any of this. This is just junk food for your ears. So no pressure. You can kind of tune in and out as much as is needed. And I'll just be here, kind of just, you know, keeping you company. So thank you for joining me. This is the episode 1 of the Really Fun Wow Show. And I mean, what a clever title, huh? So my brand, for those who aren't familiar, which I'm sure you are, because I don't know how you would have found this show at all if you weren't already familiar with my work, but my brand is called Real Fun Wow. So what I did there was I took Real Fun Wow and I added an LY to the real, making it the Really Fun Wow Show. So you can see the heights of comedic intelligence that we're operating with here. This show is sponsored. Can you believe it? And it's sponsored by a company who I am just absolutely in love with, and I'm so grateful that they decided to agree to sponsor me. And they may be pulling their sponsorship by episode 2, but without further ado, this episode is sponsored by Dadgrass. I am so stoked. I've been in love with this brand for a number of years, actually. It was actually right when I became a dad myself. I got, as you do with any good product, you got targeted on Instagram, and I was immediately intrigued by the brand name, the branding, what the product is, and it just was it was really a godsend for me at the time. I was a new father, and I needed all the help I could get in alleviating the stresses and all of it that comes with being a father and just being a human in general, really. And Dadgrass is a smokable CBD company. They sell flour, so you can roll your own joints. They sell pre-rolled joints. They sell tinctures. They sell gummies. They've expanded their product line immensely since I first started using their product. But for me, I'm at the age now, or the place in my life, where smoking weed in its classic form is kind of a little bit too intense for me. I feel like it pulls me kind of out of myself, and it leaves me kind of, as it's kind of, intended to do, it leaves me really stoned. And to me, that feeling isn't something that I enjoy as much as I once was. So with dadgrass and CBD, it is a much subtler effect, and it really kind of just pulls out the calming effects that I think THC used to for me, but doesn't come with all the added benefits of, the potential discomforts that THC might provide. So CBD, as dadgrass provides it, it takes the edge off. It really just brings you to a level of coolness and calmness that is just so welcome and really pretty necessary for me at this point in my life. And the good thing about it is all dadgrass products are federally legal for ages 18 and over, and ships right to your door anywhere in the United States. So if you happen to live in some draconian state that doesn't allow you to access parts of your mind or chill out in a way that isn't being inebriated by alcohol, fortunately, dadgrass can get to you no matter where you live. And right now, dadgrass is offering my listeners 20% off your first order by using the code RealFunWow at checkout, or you can go to dadgrass.com/RealFunWow. Go to dadgrass.com/RealFunWow for 20% off your first order. That's dadgrass.com/RealFunWow. I'm so stoked to be able to say that, dadgrass.com/RealFunWow. So get yourself some CBD and cool the fuck out. So I don't know that it's like that I'm too busy to fuck myself in the butt. I mean, there's definitely just like there's a trepidation. When I ordered it, I was mentally making it much smaller and smaller and smaller as the time went on. And then when it finally arrived and I opened it, I realized how large it actually is. And I imagined, my anatomy and how that would all play out. So there was certainly an initial, an immediate trepidation of like, wow, that's a little bit more substantial than I thought it was going to be. So I've kind of, I've put it aside. I've put it on the top of the refrigerator as things that need further attention have a tendency to end up. And I haven't really given it much more thought, but when I do think about it and I consider, like I said, the potential pleasure, the potential psychedelic level pleasure that is potentially waiting for me, it's like, well, why haven't I shoved this thing up my ass already? And I think, again, aside from the logistical factors, there's a part of me that, I think as often when things in my life come up as potential benefit inducing activities, there's some level of resistance in that. And I think that's possibly ego getting in the way. There's probably levels of trauma and influence that I haven't quite uncovered. I'm sure there always is. And there's just a hesitation to have this kind of unencumbered, raw sexual experience with myself. And it's a lot. It's been taking, it's not that I've been like stressing about it every day, but it certainly, when the prospect comes back to my mind, it's like, okay, am I ready for this? And there's a whole process that goes along with it. Obviously, you want to be mindful, and there's a way that you kind of prepare your body, and there's obviously some lubrication involved, and there's a acclimatizing process to it. So you don't just right up the butthole. You have to kind of warm up to it. You have to. There was some advice to kind of prepare You want to do like a Kegel, which I'm actually doing right now for all of you at home. Do a Kegel. That's where you flex the, what is that, the perineum? And kind of just like the way the muscle, for those of you who have penises, the muscle that you would engage to ejaculate, you want to strengthen that. So give that a number of reps. And then there's the sphincter muscle, which is different. So you want to even just initially become aware of the difference in those two muscles in those two places on your body. So that alone is just like, yeah, I mean, I got emails to answer. I don't get to sit here like, flexing my Kegel and my sphincter all day. What are you doing over there? Don't worry about it. Kind of just sitting still, staring off into nowhere. So yeah, there's that. And preparing your body for something that, I don't know, it all feels already like pre-psychedelic to me, to like consider the preparation that is involved in order to essentially blast you into this stratosphere of pleasure that I don't believe the majority of us experience on a daily basis. Certainly am not achieving psychedelic levels of ecstasy throughout the day. I might have like a good day, today was a good day, but there's not like, oh my God. I mean, again, it's like, it's really just it's almost a new comprehension of reality. And maybe, I don't know, maybe I'm making too big of a deal of it and I just need to get over it and shove it up my butt and see that it's just like, oh, that feels really nice. But I'm kind of keeping it in this mythical place of like, it's going to be just groundbreaking. And I think part of that is I have since long ago really found the traditional means of masturbation to be really boring and really just lackluster. And at some points, it's like almost, I say depressing, but certainly just like, wow, that was so mechanical. And that was really because you got turned on because the wind blew a certain way. And now you just need to alleviate yourself in, without sounding too crude, which I probably shouldn't worry about on this show because, it's my show. I can be as crude as I want. It's kind of akin to taking a shit. Like, you need to take a shit. Sometimes you need to ejaculate. And that, when you've reached that point in your life, it's time to stick something up your butt. When I think that part of human existence, a big part of it is pleasure. And so if I've gotten to a point where a means of providing myself pleasure has become akin to taking a shit, we got to check in here. And I would say that I'm pretty strictly heteronormative. I'll own that title. I have not been very exploratory in my sexual exploits. It's been, largely man on top, man on bottom, man behind, man kind of like twisted around the other way. And I'm the man in this situation, just to be clear. I just think I get probably a little bit shy, and it really requires a certain level of confidence to own your sexuality. And I've never really been in a place where that's been at the forefront of my life. I've managed to kind of get by, enjoying it, but certainly recognizing as I've gotten older that, there's like so much more here. And I know there's probably people who are shouting right now and being like, yeah, no shit, dude. Like you're late to the party here. I mean, I'm coming in here like as if I'm some scientist who's like, groundbreaking news here. We've just discovered that there's a gland in your body that can reach you to ecstatic heights. So, I'm aware that I'm sort of vanilla ass, boring kind of sex man over here. So what I'm saying is I'm welcoming a new novel experience in my life, and while at the same time feeling a certain level of trepidation for it. And man, I mean, there's just like the amount of societal baggage and the amount of ill-advised, just ill-equipped history around sexual education that I experienced in public school, and having friends who didn't know shit, and, you know, never talking about it with my parents or anyone who's had any kind of knowledge in this and that could actually like empower you in any sort of way. So really just like kind of feeling around in the dark and being like, oh, that feels like a breast. I'll give that a squeeze. Okay. You know, it's like, I mean, geez, I don't know. I don't think we're doing ourselves any good here as a culture when we don't talk about sex more openly, where it's meant to be reserved for this, you know, secretive kind of taboo place that, you know, we certainly don't talk about at dinner tables, except for the dinner that I had with some amazing folks where we very openly talked about certain subjects that, I mean, at one point, you know, there was a woman who was sitting not far from us who I think ended her meal early and left. And it wasn't maybe just specifically to the prostate discussion, but just kind of that level of comfort and that level of like open, candid discussion, which I think that we should try to normalize a bit more. Like, how are there topics involving our own bodies that we feel uncomfortable talking about? Like, how is there a little gland in the backside of my body that's reserved for homosexuality, you know, to put it pretty bluntly? It's not a standard feature in the heteronormative heterosexual repertoire. Maybe it is. Maybe I'm the outlier here, and you know, there are husbands and wives and partners who are just like doing it and doing it well, and I'm the one who's like late to the game. So I won't, you know, try to include all of us into this, but it's unfortunate that there's any kind of repression or anything that feels taboo around these topics. Cause goddamn, can't we just feel good all the time? I mean, can't we get back to Caligula and these Grecian, Roman, just sex parties? And maybe that, you know, I'm sure there was some levels of perversion that maybe were unconsenting and it wasn't all, you know, fair game there, but at least just, you know, a contemporary version of what a Roman orgy was. Because I'm at this point now where I'm in a bit of a sexual deficit, if you will. And I'm ready to party. I got the box on top of the fridge. Let's go. But that is, there's been this kind of exploratory part of my life where I've needed to kind of supplement what a partner provides. And so I've gone down a little bit of a trial period of sex toys. My first was pretty classic place to start. The Fleshlight. I got to imagine everybody's familiar with the Fleshlight, but for those who may not be, it's a flashlight shaped apparatus. You see the cleverness there, and you when it's sheathed, it could pass for a flashlight for sure, but very quickly that doesn't become the case when you uncap the top of it and it's a fully exposed, fully bald, fully pink silicone representation of a vagina. Am I even using that correctly? Isn't the vagina inside and the vulva is on the outside? We'll just say pussy to make sure that we get it proper. So a fully exposed silicone pussy that you apply some lubrication to and you fuck. And when I got that, it was at a point where there needed to be some introduction of alternate means of self-stimulation. And I can still remember the day that was expected to arrive. You get a notification, or maybe you didn't. I didn't get a notification. I'm sure I was feverishly checking my email for tracking, and it was the day that my fleshlight was arriving. And I, unlike the prostate stimulator, I immediately engaged in carnal acts with this thing, and came like the first time I had sex, as quickly. And it was amazing. And it was novel. It was new. It was different. I'd never before that had any experience with a male sex toy. So just the whole feverish act of it. And it felt like, the middle of the day when you break away and you have ravenous sex with your partner. It was that steamy, except I was by myself, and it was a silicone object. Still sexy nonetheless. And it was we dated for a little while, and we had some good times. Definitely. There's just an element to it that, after a short while, like most things, the novelty wears off, the reality sets in. There's a level of preparation and post cleanup afterwards. That's a little bit kind of takes the fun out of it. Who immediately after they ejaculate, or short time after they ejaculate, gets up and does the dishes. It's like kind of the same thing. It's you can obviously rest and sit in your post orgasm glow, but eventually you're going to have to face the facts and get up and wash out this silicone sleeve that's full of your ejaculation. And then, hang it a certain way, because you need to have it completely dry before you put it away. And there's a cornstarch powder that you can buy, recommended you buy to extend the longevity of your fleshlight, because it's a kind of a delicate silicone material that as closely as it can resembles the vagina. And so, there's just there's effort that needs to be put in. And for anyone who masturbates, you can get a little bit lazy afterwards. And so it was just like, oh fuck, man, I like going through the effort to it, definitely contributed to its loss of interest. And then, it's also just, there's the element of the idea of having sex with somebody is the somebody part of it, is the fact that there's a whole human body there. And the vagina, or the uterus, or the pussy, I'm not super good at fractions or percentages, but I would say maybe represents like 2% of the body. So there's a large 98% of this equation that's missing here. I mean, the 98% that you can, grab and like put your arms around and pull and spank and do all the bite and do all the things. I'm getting myself all worked up just saying these words. And so, when you're removing a 2% and isolating it, it's abundantly clear that something's missing. So there's that factor. And there's all manners of perversion when I am left to my own devices. And what I'm realizing is that's obviously some desire of connection, and having a kind of a difficult, it's been a difficult thing for me to be the one who acquires or seeks connection. And so in that, I turn towards myself and whatever I can do to facilitate not needing to reach out for that connection. And so, that's how sex toys get involved, and that's not a condemnation on sex toys. I think they can have a very healthy place in your life. Even, it doesn't just imply that you're a lonely hermit who's afraid of human connection. But, so I did the fleshlight, and then, that ran its course. And then I got a, I don't know what you'd call it, but it's kind of like a blowjob machine. It's the same style as the fleshlight, I guess, penis shaped. And this is akin to the fleshlight, but it's battery operated. So it's meant to mimic the sucking motion of a mouth. And let me tell you, not even close. And I was also, I don't know, maybe there was like a size issue because it was difficult to even to engage in this thing. And then it's this sad, like, I mean, I honestly wish that I had it recorded, and I would happily share it with you all to just show you how sad of a moment that whole scene played out. Again, same kind of thing as the fleshlight, anxiously waiting like it's Christmas Eve, and I'm at the top of the stairs, like waiting for Santa to drop off the gifts. I mean, like literally meet the fucking FedEx guy at the door, pants down, penis out now. Grab the package. He's none the wiser as to what's about to happen. And I get it, unboxed and ripped open and lubed up and on, and just just left in utter abject disappointment and no fulfillment whatsoever. I had to complete the job manually, classic style. And that was the last I ever used that thing. So that was a fucking $75 fucking trash bundle. I mean, and that's, there's not really a mindful, ecological way of disposing of sex toys as far as I know. There's not a teenager in need donation program where you can pass down your sex toys. So you kind of just got to throw it in the trash. You wrap it in several Target bags and put it inside of a brown paper bag and then put that into a trash bag. You really just want to like cover your tracks as much as possible. And so that's what I did. And that thing got tossed to the earth. So I apologize to Mother Gaia for doing that to you like that. So that was that. That was the attempt at mimicking what it is to have a human being in your life. So for now, the prostate stimulator remains at the top of my fridge. I plan maybe in the new year as a resolution to fuck myself in the butt. I mean, I deserve it, right? I deserve states of ecstasy, unlike which a little kind of shy guy like me deserves. I'm really trying to imagine it from, kind of a perspective in which I'm sort of seeing myself in the act. And I think just I'm a little shaky. I got to be honest with you. I'm feeling a little bit shy about it. So we'll see how that goes. And you will all be the first to know as this all plays out. So thank you so much for joining me here on the Really Fun Wow Show. Again, I don't know what this is. I mean, clearly, I just spent a half an hour talking about fucking myself in the butt. Has that been said? Has that line been said as many times as it has on this episode? So again, thank you so much. Check out dadgrass.com/realfunwow for 20% off your first order. And go to realfunwow.com. That's my website. If you haven't already, I have some things on there that I make. And we're going to end the show today like we always do with a quote from the top of my head. Let not one know once he has come and he has gone, where he should go and how he should be, but rather who he can and who he can't. And nevermore after one such has been such one, and then the end of life will be clear. I love you.
That was the Really Fun Wow Show. All right, we're done. Oh, yep. Okay, bye.